Hi there, welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friends. So glad to be with you today. And sometimes, you know, you wake up and you're just so groggy, but you have to keep going and all. And it really does help to say, this is the day the Lord has made. I mean, that scripture covers so many things during the day when you realize that He's the author of all of it. So if you're kind of down like that, just remember that. This is the day He's made, and our choice is to either not rejoice in it. So think about that. Now, we had a guest yesterday, and I've got him back again today, named Vince Callahan. And honestly, some of the most interesting stuff I've ever heard, it's all about the brain. And I think we mentioned on the first show that the Bible says in the last days, knowledge will increase. And I don't think there's any doubt we're living in the last days, so that's kind of established. But I think it's every kind of knowledge, and that scientists and medicine, every kind of information there can possibly be is going to increase. And Vince has some really interesting things to say today, so I hope you saw the last program. And I just kind of, I kind of sat spellbound just as he was telling some of the things that he's learned and papers he's working on. And he ties so much into that early childhood education, you know, if there's been abuse or whatever. So if you heard him yesterday, I know you'll really look forward to him being here today. I'm going to join Stephanie. We're going to make a lemon Orzo Primavera. I don't know who invented pasta, but God bless them. Stephanie and I were talking about that earlier today, how pasta can stretch your meat. You know, meat's kind of expensive, and this stretches it. There's no meat in this one, but I think it's one you will really like, and one that's got a lot of vegetables in it. Before I join her, though, this is the last time I'm going to offer faith goals for a while. As I go through this book, I'm telling you, this could be so helpful on so many levels, whether you're a mom, a teacher, a housewife, and all. I think everybody has some goals. I hope they do. And so we're offering you this for any amount to this program. When you order this book, you are helping us stay on the air. So check that 800 number for all of you who, like Stephanie, use your credit card, your debit card, online. These really smart people. Or if you're like me, send a check to Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, and we will get it out to you. And this looks really good, Stephanie.
This smells so good. This lemon zest smells so fresh zucchini, and delicious.
We got carrots, all fresh.
Yes, so I'm going to get garlic, carrots, and zucchini in the pan cooking, and then we can talk, okay?
Well,
I have a story. Do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
So you were talking about
stories.
Well, you were talking about the Lord being the author of our. Well, let me tell you. I was coming back from Tennessee last week, okay, and I pulled off to go through a McDonald's to get some coffee. You know,
I hear their coffee's great. I don't
so
drink
good,
it.
and I was, you know, feeling the 5 a.m. whatever. So I
Slump.
pulled over. Yes, so. Got in McDonald's, 2 cars in front of me, and I am not kidding you, it was 15 minutes, and I'm sitting there waiting. And I was like, okay, forget it. This is it. But then I heard that still small voice that said, I order your steps. So I was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait. Yes. Sat there probably another 10 minutes waiting. Well, they were switching over from breakfast to whatever, cash to, anyway. Got back on the road, not a few miles up the road, there was a horrendous crash, and it had just happened. And I promise you, that was the Lord saving me from that.
Yeah,
I believe it with everything within me. So yes,
He will guide our steps.
I'm going to get my zucchini in here. Yeah, so once I heard that, I was like, I will be patient, and I will sit here as long as I need to for this cup of coffee.
And how we need to listen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep, so, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I think eternity will reveal everything the Lord did for us and what He kept us
I think we're going to get up there, and He's going to show us things that we're going to be like, I'm so sorry that I was so impatient. I'm so sorry that I was mad.
Yep.
I see now so many times where I've wanted like different part-time jobs and stuff like that, that I've really felt like I wanted and I needed, and then I see later why I didn't get them. Something happened. Somebody one of them I really wanted, the girl got arrested.
Oh.
And I would have been in the midst of that.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So I have to come and visit you.
Yeah, so I believe when we get to heaven, He's going to say, do you remember this? He's going to say, this is why. Remember this? This is why. So I'm going to put some
now, because
vegetable
of
broth.
our time constraints.
Yes, I'm speed cooking. Don't speed cook. Saute this stuff up.
We cook the orzo ahead of time.
Yes. So I'm going to put some fresh
Look
smelling
at all this
lemon.
good flavors.
That lemon.
What is this?
That's thyme. That's going to be at the end.
Okay.
Okay. So I cranked my heat up because once I put that stuff in it.
Do you know when she goes, she's the best daughter. She's always going to Tennessee to see her parents. But she does something I could never do. You leave at 2 in the morning.
Yes.
I like an early start, but I'd fall right
I
over
miss
the steering
all the
wheel.
traffic. All of it. I make it there in 10 hours door to door every single time because I just miss all the traffic.
Well, you know, I was an evangelist wife, and a lot of times we drive all night because we couldn't afford a motel. And I didn't like my husband driving that really hard time because he'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
And so the thing that kept us awake were these funny radio preachers.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
putting
won't
the
mention
orzo
any
that we
names,
already
but they
cooked.
were hilarious.
Yeah.
And he would wake me up and say, wake up, you got to hear this, you got to hear this. So
Oh,
it
that's
was kind of an
funny.
entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that I don't have my between 4:30 and 6
Slump.
I turn the stereo up really loud and I dance and I roll the windows down and I do everything I can so
I'll
my eyes
bet.
aren't crossing. Yeah. So I put the orzo in. Okay. You really let this cook a lot longer. I am speed cooking and I'm talking.
Are we disjointed a little bit?
I am because I have stories and there's not much to say about the food. So.
I'm telling you, I'm anxious to taste this.
Oh,
though.
this is going to be so good. So let me put some thyme in here. So,
Yeah.
that's fresh herbs, so good. Fresh lemon zest, so good.
Sometimes you just sit back, you know, we talk about this is the day the Lord has made, but his creation, the herbs, everything that
All
makes
of
our
it.
food taste
All
so
of
much
it.
better.
Now, the amounts will come up on the screen at the end because I have not mentioned anything.
Right.
So let me get that. Let me get your plate.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
let it cook a little bit longer. We're speed cooking.
Yes.
Put a little cheese on there.
Uh-huh.
So yummy. It smells so good. It just looks so fresh and healthy,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Really a good summer.
Yeah. And I decided after last night, I'm not turning my oven on anymore for the rest of the summer. It's too hot.
Very hot in Florida.
Yeah.
I love that. And I like it because those vegetables are still a little bit crunchy. I wouldn't. It's got the lemon zest in it, the thyme.
So fresh.
And all that. So information's coming up on your screen right now, how you can get it. There's several ways you can get it. Certainly recommend it. It'd be a good, inexpensive meal, you know, for your family. So take a look at that. And then Vince was on with me yesterday, and he's back today. I think you're going to enjoy what he has to say, so stay there.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
I'm very happy to welcome back Vince Callahan. You were on the last show. But in going over the conversation we had earlier, I think of King David saying that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And then I think of the scripture that knowledge will increase. I think that's every kind of knowledge. I think it's good knowledge. I think it's bad knowledge. I think it's science. I think it's spiritual. I think we live in a very exciting time, actually. And so there's a whole lot more interest now in the brain. This, and when you sit and think about it, wow. It, you know, down the road you can encounter Alzheimer's and things like that, but if that's not there, you can keep learning till you're 90, 95.
And you know one thing the brain can't do?
What's that?
Have two thoughts at the same time.
Well, women can.
No, I'm sorry, they can't. Sequence fast, yes. Have two at the same time, no.
So, what about the multitasking that we are all so proud of?
That's because our brain sequences that fast. And if you have
Oh,
attention,
it's the
yes, and if
rapidity.
you have attention deficit, your brain's even faster. and how it processes information.
Now, on the program yesterday, we mentioned, if you missed it, we talked about the research that Vince has done to discover that when a child is mistreated or they're left alone a lot, so many things can happen to when they're young. It actually affects the brain, and then they act out and they do all kinds of things that irritate us. But if they can have an attachment with somebody who cares about them, that the brain kind of repairs, and it gives them a whole new start in life. That's kind of the synopsis of what we were talking about.
Yes.
And the thing that drove you was that you had a brother who was completely different, and he did act out a lot. And
he got in trouble, and he was thought of sometimes as the black sheep of the family. He didn't always make the greatest decisions, and even as an adult, there have been challenges with certain decisions and executive functioning skills and critical thinking skills and those kind of things. And after I began doing this research, I really began talking to him about, here's some of the stuff we dealt with in our family. No family is perfect. Mine wasn't either. We all come from some type of dysfunctional family. But this research and dissertation has been really healing for him, because now I can tell him this is why.
And he's
going, oh, yes. And we've had many conversations where we'll both be kind of crying for a minute and talking and praying, and he'll go, wow, I never knew. And it's amazing what the Lord's doing there.
That is so wonderful, because you don't ever give up.
No.
I love that testimony.
You can't.
Yeah. Okay. What is a Hippocampus?
Hippocampus.
Hippocampus, and that's in my brain somewhere.
It's in your brain.
What is
it's
that?
in the deep part of your brain. It's the emotion center, if we will. So your brain, and like I said, there will be a graphic for you, but the brain develops from the bottom up. It's kind of an inverted C. If you take a C and turn it on its side. So the first thing that develops in the brain is your brain stem. That's the automatic stuff, the heart rate, the breathing, all that stuff. And then it begins to develop the lobes. And inside of all that, tucked in, there's this little cool thing called the hippocampus, which is the center point when stress happens. It sends out the signals, if you will. Get ready for the attack, get ready for the stress. It increases your blood pressure, your sugar level. It gives you your adrenaline rush. It connects with the pituitary gland and all that kind of cool stuff to interact to get ready for what's about to happen.
If the average person, the layman, understood some of this, I think it would change a lot of people's behavior. Now, see, I wrote this down. I read it somewhere, that just 2 hours of silence helped the mice develop. Can you say it again? I can't say it.
Hippocampus.
Hippocampus, okay. Developed it just, the Bible says, be still and know that I'm God. See, I live alone, so I have noise on all the time. When I read what it did for these little micey, I started turning that TV off.
But if you do the reverse of that study, and you give them no attention, if the mother mouse gives no attention to the baby rats and avoids them, that creates the stress in their brain. It puts their brain on hyper alert, because they're very fearful now, and they don't know how to distinguish a real threat versus a false threat.
Okay, now, I'm sure there are variables in the animal kingdom.
Sure.
Are there mean mother mice?
Oh, absolutely.
Are there?
They do this on purpose.
And then are there nice mother
yes.
mice?
Well, they do in studies where they'll pull the mom away. They'll not let the mom nurture them or be connected to them.
But that's a
or
study.
Touch. That's a study. There may be in real, I don't know. But in that study, in that lab setting, now they watch what happens to the children. And there's another study that I just read this week. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it showed where if you take that mean mother and replace her, so now the mean mom has been avoidant of the baby rats. They're now dealing with stress, and they're not doing too well at all. They're not thriving. If you remove mean mother mouse and put a nurturing mother mouse in there, their brains change. Like we're talking about with these kids. Their brains actually change, the chemical releases change, and these now are nurtured mice who grow up normal.
And we're not talking about drugs, we're not
No.
talking about exercising, we're not talking about diet. We're talking about
attention.
Yep. Okay, let's get back to these 2 hours of silence for these mouse. This region is associated with memory, emotion, and learning. You said that. That silence replenishes our cognitive resources. So,
Like a meditation.
okay.
That's a good thing. Like for me,
David did it a lot.
right?
King
For
David.
me, it's worship. For me, I do my best
So it's good
work.
for your brain.
Yes. So for me, I do my best work when I've got headphones on and worship music playing. Which, FYI, the several years that it took me to write this and get this information, this was all bathed in worship music. I never wrote on my dissertation without worship music playing. And God gave me the revelation of this and how to help folks.
Well, talk to people about giving some thought to their brain and how it can be affected. What about these people that all they do is have their phone in front of their face all the time, or they're on the computer all of the time?
Bad idea. I don't know how clinical you want to go.
Yeah.
Bad idea. Lots of studies shows that beyond the addiction part in which you're lighting up in your brain, it's not good for you to do that all the time. There's also studies that show about children and the violence they're having in real life connected to what they've been doing on video games and the parts of the brain that light up because of the chronic video work. And there's even studies that show parts of the brain that light up in that arena and the same in an addiction, like if you're doing cocaine. The same parts of the brain are getting excited.
Like doing a video game.
Right. The video game and the drug addiction is the same part of the brain being lit up.
You know, I've read or heard that somewhere, that the brain lights up. I'm sure they have x-rays of that.
Oh, yeah, they do.
It actually lights up.
FRMI studies that show what parts of the brain light up in different exercises and different things.
Well, none of this was available when I was raising my children, but I can tell you today, I know what kind of mother I am. They wouldn't be playing any video games. They wouldn't be playing any violent video games. Absolutely not. They would not be allowed.
Everything's good in moderation. But yeah, kids are on their computers too long. It's very similar to, I don't know if you remember when Ted Bundy was around, and Dr. Dobson interviewed Ted Bundy.
I remember it very well.
Dr. Dobson made the statement that his brain was predisposed to what he would do, and the first time he looked at pornography, it excited the parts of his brain, and then he acted out. The same dynamic is happening now with kids in video games.
Which caused Ted Bundy to kill more women than probably we know, for sure. I have a Christian psychologist on every month, and you know, he said pornography is one of the hardest ones. It can be overcome, there's no question.
Sure.
But what can you do now? You might have a 10, 12-year-old boy that it pops up on his phone.
Yeah, I'm old school. I have a 33-year-old son now. When he was a teenager, he never had a cell phone. I didn't think he needed one because I always was going to know where he was. I think we've given cell phones and things to kids that aren't ready to handle that responsibility instead of doing what we should do in parenting and attaching and bonding and connecting with our kids. That's just my opinion. That may irritate some people.
I very much agree with you that parents really need to monitor these devices. Okay, let's get back to the brain. I'm so fascinated with it, and like I said earlier, I think there's going to be more and more and more understanding and knowledge of it. What was it that, other than your brother, was there something that motivated you to be really curious about it?
I've been a counselor for 33 years, a professional Christian counselor, and I've always been curious what emotional trauma does to folks. When I first started counseling, a lot of my patients were females who had been sexually abused, and I saw how their lives were fragmented and what it did to them. So I've always been very curious. I understand that if I get hit in the head with a baseball bat, my brain's going to change. I get that. But I always was very curious what happens for the emotional trauma side. Not only just in a family system, but in life in general. What happens when trauma, and what does that do to your brain? And so I began seeing the different hormones that were released during the stress time or during that trauma. And now I have found out, okay, this is what happens in the brain. So my next question was, can I fix it?
Yes, and what's the answer?
The answer is yes. Because if trauma or stress creates a hormone release Could there be a solution? Answer is yes. I knew a little bit about attachment theory from being a counselor, so I wanted to find out if there were medical studies that showed the brain actually changing when you release oxytocin in the brain, which is, it happens in certain scenarios. One of those is attachment or bonding. And so now, if I could release that, if I could set up an environment where that hormone's released more than the stress hormone, I could change the brain. And has it been done? And research shows yes, and medical research and diagrams of the brain and all those kind of cool things. So the answer is yes, we can change the brain. And I'm actually working now on a different research question.
What's that?
I'm curious at what would stop the brain from being able to be changed. Here's what I mean. If stress changes the brain and attachment fixes the change, now I know that those two fit together. A stressed child, his brain can be restructured through the attachment and bonding. Good. Now, my next question, does mental illness change brain structure? And if so, is it permanent? And if so, if it can be changed, then what's the instrument to change it? If attachment's the instrument with kids, what's the instrument with mental health that could literally create a structural change in the brain to reduce the mental health issues? So that's what I'm working on and kind of researching and seeing.
Okay, let's bring the Spirit into this.
Oh, absolutely.
What about the Holy Spirit? Jesus, God can do anything.
Yes, he can.
Anything at all. But often he's more in the process. We want the end product. But he's in the process, they're not going to learn anything. So you work in prisons, right?
Yes, I do.
And people who have lived what you've been talking about.
Right.
How do you bring Jesus to them? And you get that spirit man working right, a lot of other things will follow.
Actually, the exact same thing I'm talking about with students. In the corrections world, we know that those inmates have made mistakes. Some of them some really bad mistakes. And a lot of times, people really don't care. They're just there, right? You're now a felon. You wear your blue suit.
Forget
you're here.
about you.
Forget about you. And what I do in the psychology department of the prison I work, I try to be someone who's actually very caring, very empathetic, almost like a dad figure, if you will, when I talk to them.
Like God would want you to be?
Like God would want me to be. And it's amazing to me how these hardened felons will start crying. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, thank you for actually just listening to me.
And they probably haven't cried for years.
And they haven't cried for years.
Yeah, we do prison segments on here every month.
Yeah?
And it's one of the most fulfilling.
It is.
Because we deal with the families, those who let them lock up and they won't do anything to see them anymore.
Right.
Softened a lot of hearts.
Right.
And through this ministry we have on, we can send money to a prisoner that's never had a visit in 10 years, never had a card, never had anything. Wow. We can put a little money in his account and he can buy some snacks, some hygiene product. So I gave them a check one day. I said, I want you to tell Jason, who is a prisoner in there who we work through.
Right.
I said, give it to the meanest, God-hating, horrible human being in that whole compound and tell him there's a woman in Central Florida that loves him.
And that's
what you're talking about.
That's all I'm talking about. That's all they want. I'm not getting into what they did and what their crime was and what their mistake was and, you know, whatever. They're a person. They need a connection. Bible says it's not good for us to be alone. Aloneness is a state of mind. So the minute you realize you've got somebody that actually cares about you and there's hope, changes your whole outlook.
How many days a week are you with them, one-on-one?
I see people 5 days a week.
Wow. I'm so glad to hear that.
I think this week I saw 30 folks, 30 different ones. And next
Great.
week will be a different 30
pray
or 40.
For him. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. It really is fun.
Yeah. Overall, I'm proud of the Christians that go into the prisons because I think they've done a good job. I think they've been faithful.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear of Murph the Surf?
Yes.
Yeah, I interviewed him a couple times, and he was in jail for a long time. And he'd see these Christians come in, and he thought they were. And then he said they kept coming. He said they couldn't have been at the beach with their kids, but they kept coming. God bless them, and God bless you.
What's amazing to me is I actually get a lot of the inmates who say, I used to know God, And I'll sit there and start talking to them, and they'll ask me, "Are you a Christian?" "Yeah." This year I'm celebrating 50 years of being a Christian. And they'll go, "Really?" And I'll say, "Yeah." And God loves you. He's not mad at you. Really? It's amazing.
You're giving me goosebumps. Oh, but we're out of time.
Okay, of course.
This has really been informative and inspirational. Thanks. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank
You stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Okay, that's interesting stuff, isn't it? To talk about the brain, and there's more and more research going on in that field. I was thinking a while ago how we need to control what we allow in this brain, this wonderful, wonderful machine that God created. The Bible says, "Let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight." And there's so much of everything out there. I think the Christian ought to really think about what they look at, which goes right into your thinking patterns. I think I had a friend who said she used to get up every day and put on the whole armor of God. That would be such a great thing to do every morning before you leave, to really prepare to keep your thoughts on Him and be asking His direction. You know, as Stephanie was telling it, God was speaking to her, and she really believes that He saved her from a horrible accident, that we think about Him and we meditate on Him, and He will direct our paths. I think so often of the scripture that it says, "Good understanding giveth favor." Well, how do you understand? You have to understand with your brain. But the way of the transgressor is hard. And God offers us so many things, and He offers us wisdom, the wisdom that comes from above. Apostle James talks about that, and he gives it so freely. So these are a lot of good things to think about, and then, you know, you can transfer them to your kids, think about grandkids, all that. It's really good. Out of time. Join me next time, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.